hung low in the inky sky, casting an eerie glow upon the empty streets as young Emma walked home alone from a Halloween party. The party had been a blast, but now a creeping unease settled in her stomach as she realized she was the last one left on the desolate road. Clutching her phone tightly, she quickened her pace, her footsteps echoing in the stillness of the night. The air turned colder, and the rustling leaves seemed to whisper chilling secrets. Suddenly, she sensed a presence behind her, and a shiver ran down her spine. Turning around, she glimpsed a figure in all black, their face obscured by a dark hood. Panic gripped her as she realized they were following her. Emma tried to shake off the fear, convincing herself it was merely a coincidence. But every turn she took, they mimicked her movements. She decided to confront her fear head-on and quickened her pace, determined to lose the mysterious stalker. Yet no matter how fast she walked, they remained relentless in their pursuit. Her heart pounded in her chest, and fear gnawed at her mind. With trembling hands, Emma called her roommate, desperately explaining the situation and begging her to stay on the line. The distant voice of her friend provided a sliver of comfort amidst the terror that gripped her. As she approached her apartment building, dread settled in. The stalker was still there, lurking in the shadows. She rushed into the building, praying for safety behind the locked door. But when she turned to look, the figure was gone. Relieved, but still shaken, she made her way up to her apartment, ensuring every door was securely locked. Once inside, she slumped against the wall, trying to process the horror of what had just occurred. Days turned into weeks, and Emma couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She constantly caught glimpses of the figure in her periphery, across the street, in the shadows outside her window. Each time, their presence sent waves of terror through her. One fateful night, while alone in her apartment, she received a chilling message on her phone. "You can't escape me." Panic surged through her as she realized the stalker was closer than she thought. In a state of fear, she called the police, who arrived promptly and scoured the area. They discovered signs of intrusion, confirming her worst fears. Emma never found out who had been tormenting her, but the scars of that Halloween night would forever haunt her dreams, a lingering reminder of the terrors that can lurk in the shadows. In the quiet town of Willow Creek, Halloween was the most anticipated event of the year. This year, a group of friends, Alex, Sarah, Ben, and Emma, decided to throw a Halloween party at an old, isolated mansion on the outskirts of town. The mansion had a dark history, rumored to be haunted. The night of the party arrived, and the mansion was adorned with flickering candles, dim lighting, and eerie decorations. The guests arrived in their spooky costumes, ready for a night of revelry and scares. As the clock struck midnight, strange occurrences began. Lights flickered and shadows seemed to dance on the walls. Sarah brushed it off as mere coincidences, attributing it to the spooky ambience. Unbeknownst to them, the mansion held a malevolent secret, eager to make itself known. As the night wore on, guests started to disappear mysteriously. One by one, they vanished without a trace, leaving the remaining guests on edge. Panic set in when they realized they were locked inside, the doors refusing to budge. Alex, Ben, Sarah, and Emma frantically searched for their missing friends, their fear intensifying with each empty room they explored. The atmosphere grew colder, and whispers filled the air, recounting tales of a vengeful spirit haunting the mansion. In a chilling revelation, they stumbled upon a hidden room, adorned with sinister symbols, and an old, dusty book. The book contained an incantation to summon the vengeful spirit. Desperation pushed them to chant the incantation, hoping to appease the spirit and escape its clutches. As they finished the incantation, a dark, ethereal figure materialized before them, its eyes burning with malice. The spirit revealed its tragic story, a victim of a heinous crime, committed within these very walls, seeking revenge against the living. In a state of panic, the friends pleaded for mercy, promising to uncover the truth behind the crime and bring the perpetrators to justice. The spirit, momentarily appeased, set them on a path to uncover the mansion's dark secrets. They delved into the mansion's history, discovering a gruesome murder that had taken place years ago. Shockingly, some of their closest friends were descendants of the perpetrators. The vengeful spirit sought retribution, targeting the descendants in an attempt to right the wrongs of the past. Fearing for their lives, they confronted the descendants and forced them to confess their ancestors' sins. The spirit, satisfied with the truth finally revealed, released its grip on the mansion. The doors unlocked, allowing the remaining friends to escape the now purged mansion. As they stepped out into the cold Halloween night, they knew they had been forever changed by the horrifying events of the party. A night that had started in celebration, but ended in a terrifying encounter with the vengeful beyond. On a moonless Halloween night, a group of friends, Mike, Sarah, and Mark, found themselves driving home from a lively party. The rural roads were devoid of other cars, shrouded in darkness, and an eerie silence that seemed to amplify the rustle of leaves and distant hoots of owls. As they navigated through winding lanes, laughter and party cheer still lingering in the air, they suddenly noticed headlights glaring in the rearview mirror. An old, beaten-up truck was tailgating them, its driver seemingly in a relentless hurry. Nervously, Mike increased their speed, hoping to lose the menacing truck. But no matter how fast they drove, the truck kept gaining on them. Panic set in, as they realized the driver of the truck was attempting to run them off the road. The truck's menacing presence felt suffocating, their hearts racing as they tried to outmaneuver the relentless pursuer. Swerving and accelerating, they desperately searched for a safe escape, but the truck persisted in its dangerous pursuit. In a moment of terror, the truck slammed into their rear, sending their car into a dangerous spin. Mike struggled to regain control, their car skidding dangerously close to the edge of the road. Adrenaline surged through their veins as they narrowly avoided a potentially fatal collision. Fueled by fear and survival instinct, Mike made a split-second decision to detour onto a narrow dirt road, hoping to lose their pursuer. The truck, however, followed without hesitation, its intentions unmistakably malevolent. The dirt road twisted and turned, trees looming menacingly on either side. Desperation pushed Mike to drive faster, their only hope to find help or safety in this isolated darkness. But the truck remained relentless, gaining ground and edging closer. Suddenly, the road dead-ended into an old, abandoned building shrouded in darkness. Realizing they had run out of options, they braced themselves for the worst. The truck pulled up behind them, trapping them in their hopeless situation. The driver's door creaked open, and a tall, menacing figure emerged from the truck, clad in tattered clothing and a grotesque mask. A chilling laughter filled the air as the figure approached, wielding a wicked-looking bladder. In the face of imminent danger, they fought back with all their strength, adrenaline surging through their veins. The night turned into a horrifying struggle for survival, leaving them scarred physically and emotionally. Eventually, they managed to overpower their assailant and escape. But the terrifying encounter haunted their dreams, leaving them forever changed and wary of the malevolent darkness that can lurk on a seemingly harmless Halloween night. Once upon a chilling Halloween night, a group of 5 friends, Emily, Mark, Sarah, David, and Rachel, decided to host a Halloween party in an eerie, isolated cornfield on the outskirts of town. The tales of the old farm's haunted past had piqued their curiosity, making it the perfect backdrop for their spooky celebration. The air was crisp and carried a foreboding sense of anticipation as the friends arrived at the abandoned farm. The moon was hidden behind thick, swirling clouds, casting an ominous darkness over the vast field. They set up their party, complete with bonfires, flickering lanterns, and an assortment of creepy decorations. As the night progressed, unease settled in. Odd rustling noises danced through the cornstalks, and shadows seemed to dance ominously at the edge of the flickering lights. But they dismissed their fears, attributing the eerie atmosphere to the occasion. Sarah, the bravest of the group, suggested exploring the dilapidated barn nearby. Intrigued, they agreed, making their way through the overgrown path. The moonlight barely penetrated the thick tangle of trees, amplifying the eeriness. Upon entering the barn, an unsettling feeling washed over them. The air was thick with a musty stench, and the creaks of old wood echoed ominously. Sarah noticed strange symbols etched into the walls, making their nerves spiral further into unease. Suddenly, the barn doors slammed shut, enveloping them in darkness. Panic set in, but before they could react, blood-curdling screams echoed through the night. The friends stumbled in the darkness, trying to find an escape, but an unseen force seemed to block every exit. As the group huddled together, a chilling voice filled the air. "Welcome to our domain, where your fears become reality." The source of the voice was invisible, but its malevolent tone was unmistakable. Terrifying apparitions materialized, their ghastly forms twisted and distorted. The air grew colder, and the friends could see their breath in the freezing darkness. The apparitions lunged at them, their touches icy and searing, leaving marks of frostbite. Amid the chaos, Emily was dragged into the depths of the barn, her screams echoing into the night. Mark and David attempted to fight off the apparitions, but were overpowered and dragged into the darkness, their pleas for mercy drowned by the malevolent laughter that echoed through the barn. Sarah and Rachel, now desperate to escape, found a hidden trapdoor in the floor. Without a moment's hesitation, they pried it open and descended into a chilling underground chamber. The chamber revealed the horrifying truth. The farm was a cover for a sadistic cult that thrived on fear and sacrifice. Realizing the cult's plans, they mustered every ounce of courage and devised a plan to outwit them. Sarah bravely lured the cultists into a trap, allowing Rachel to escape and seek help. But in the end, the night bore witness to unspeakable horrors. leaving the friends forever scarred by the terror they had encountered in the cornfield. A Halloween party turned nightmare that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. On a bone-chilling Halloween night, the town of Raven's Hollow lay cloaked in shadows. The moon, a mere sliver in the sky, cast an eerie glow upon the desolate streets. Inside his dimly lit house, Mark, a reclusive man with a penchant for solitude, was lost in thought, unaware of the horror that was about to unfold. Mark heard the faint chime of the doorbell, assuming it was just another group of trick-or-treaters seeking their share of candy. He reluctantly left the comfort of his armchair and headed towards the front door. As he approached, a sense of unease washed over him, but he brushed it aside, attributing it to the spooky ambiance of the night. He swung the door open, expecting to see costumed children. To his astonishment, he found no one there. The moonlit street was deserted, and an unsettling silence hung in the air. Bewildered, he was about to close the door when he noticed a flickering lantern on his porch. Mark's heart pounded as he stepped outside, his senses heightened. He scanned the surroundings, and there, under the feeble glow of the lantern, stood a figure obscured in darkness, its face hidden by a grotesque mask. The intruder spoke in a low, raspy voice, sending shivers down Mark's spine. "I've come for a treat, dear Mark," it hissed, its words dripping with malice. Fear surged through Mark, his pulse racing like a runaway train. He stammered, "I don't have any treats. Go away." But his words seemed to fall on deaf ears. The figure advanced, its movements unsettlingly mechanical. Mark slammed the door shut, bolting the locks in a desperate attempt to keep the intruder out. He stumbled backward, the realization hitting him. This was no ordinary Halloween prank. A hollow chuckle emanated from beyond the door, followed by an eerie scratching sound. Mark's breaths grew shallow, his mind racing to comprehend the nightmare unfolding. He reached for the phone, but the line was dead. Panic surged through him like a raging storm. Through the window, he glimpsed the figure, now peering through the glass with its soulless eyes, devoid of any humanity. It raised a bony hand, nails tapping the window, in a slow, deliberate rhythm that sent chills down his spine. Every knock on the window seemed to reverberate through the walls of his sanity. Mark knew he had to escape. He darted upstairs, looking for any means to flee the clutches of this malevolent intruder. In his bedroom, he noticed a hidden passage behind a bookshelf. He hastily pushed it aside, revealing a narrow staircase leading to the attic. He crawled through the cramped space, praying for safety. As he reached the attic, he heard the front door splintering, the figure's insidious laughter echoing through the house. Mark locked the attic hatch, trembling with dread. Alone in the suffocating darkness, he realized that this Halloween night had unleashed a terror that would haunt him for the rest of his days, a fear he could never escape.